everyone. It's Marilyn, the PNW High Priestess, and I'm coming at you from the old tree. And today we have a very special guest joining us, Miss Kimberly Bizjack. She's going to talk a little bit about her new book that she just got published, and it's already #1 on Amazon's best-selling list. She is going to also give us a little backstory on how she became a witch and how she grew into her craft even more, because now she's like a pirate witch. So that's what she's doing right
I'm
now.
a sea witch now.
So let's get this party started, Miss Kim. I want you to give me a little bit of information on how young were you when you found out that the path of witchery is exactly what you wanted to be on?
Well, that all kind of started when I was living in Salem, Massachusetts. Obviously, that's where everyone in Salem is a witch. So I started learning a lot about being pagan, and I grew up Mormon, which
that must have been a big transition.
All sorts of interesting, yeah. But yeah, being Mormon never really clicked with me, you know. I liked doing all the fun youth group kind of things, but the whole church was not really my gig.
Yeah. What did your parents think about you breaking into the witchery mode from being a Mormon?
See, we all sort of slowly stopped doing Mormon things, like in my teenage years. I mean, technically they still are, but no one in my family goes to church anymore. I mean, like aunts and uncles and stuff do. Like they still live in like Salt Lake City, Utah, and that kind of thing. But as far as my parents go, they're not like super crazy religious anyway. So
nice.
They just figure whatever I wanted to do, could do. When my parents got divorced, my dad married a woman who was Jewish. So everyone kind of scattered from there, and all sorts of different religions started happening. So
you just love everybody. Just love everybody. It doesn't matter what the religion, right? Just love everybody. For sure. I love it. So you were quite young then when you decided that you wanted to still be spiritual, but follow the path of the witch. So
which was, well, not super, super young. I guess I was 29.
That's still a baby when we look at our ages now.
It's true. That was like a really long time ago.
We're like, oh my gosh, if I only knew what I know now then. Oh goodness sakes. So tell me about the beginnings of what you were doing, because I know that you used to be a paranormal investigator, which I find so interesting. Tell me how you got to that space.
So I was living in Salem, obviously, and Salem is the Halloween capital of the United States. So I decided that I really wanted to work weekends doing these like really cheesy ghost tours. And they were horrible. Like this one that I did with like all sorts of stupid jokes and, you know, like funny things to get you a tip and stories that weren't even true. But as I would do these tours, like really weird things would happen. And I would tell people on these tours, like, ghost hunters, they came to town and they investigated here, and Ghost Adventures investigated here. And people would say, doesn't anyone in town do like a real paranormal investigation? And I thought, no one does anything like that.
That's kind of crazy.
Right. So by the time like the 10th person asked me, I thought, well, I watch Ghost Hunters. I can go buy some equipment on Amazon. I'll just do it. So I did join a paranormal investigation team, and then I drove down to Rhode Island to Ghost Hunters or TAP's office and took their week-long TAP's Academy and learned how to use this equipment, learned everything from like, physics to, like scientific electronics. I don't know, whatever you call it. So,
and tapping into yourself as well, I'm sure.
See, that wasn't then.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
This was just, hey, I have an opportunity to make some money, and I've always really loved these shows, and I can provide this service that obviously is lacking in this city. And then the longer that I did these tours, And the more people that I met in Salem, like the other witches, and I learned how to read tarot there. This deck I have right here, I got from a friend in Salem.
Nice.
I would be doing these investigations with people, and I would know the name of someone's family member, before the K2 meter went off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how am I doing this? So that was and that's kind of what my book is about also.
Right.
So my book's called Ghost Stories and Hippie Shit. So
I
that was
love
the
it.
ghost stories. And then this is when I started getting more and more into the hippie shit, the woo-woo, the witchiness, and learning all that I could learn about
I love
everything
it.
that had to do with your strengthening your intuition,
I love it. One of the things I really love about you, and one of the things I find that you and I have in common, even if we don't know how to do something, it's not a, no, I'm not going to do it. It's a, I'm going to jump head first into this and I'm going to learn everything about it and I'm going to be fucking magnificent. And that's how
Right?
it's going to be. I
That's
love
how
that.
everyone should do it.
I think so too. I love that. Like I don't like to say no. Like if it's something I know, great. If it's something I don't know, greater. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just adding more tools into our toolbox, right?
Exactly.
So I love that about you. Just so you know, never stop that.
Aw.
And that also transitioned over into what, a year and a half ago when you guys decided to sell your house and jump in an RV and then into a sailboat. And I need to know about that because to me, I am so Virgo that would frighten me a little bit, to be quite honest.
I'm not Virgo, but I have like a lot of planets in Virgo. So to me, to do this, I mean, it really was kind of a push.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that because, I moved back from Salem to Seattle, like I sold my company there and moved back, and I was doing a lot of medium readings. And that
Yeah.
you live like kind of in this,
In the
between
between.
life and death, right?
Yeah, in the between.
We have this unique understanding of how short life is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that because all of my sessions were helping my clients kind of tap into their higher selves and their own intuition and figure out what their path is on this life, that it was time for me to sort of take my own advice, I guess, my
Right?
advice or spirit's advice, and decide we wanted to sell everything and sail around the world. We've always loved to sail. I think people were like, where did that come from? But we've always talked about wanting to do that. Like, my husband and I are high school sweethearts, and we've been talking about wanting to sail the world like since high school. And we always thought that's something we do when our kids are grown. And, that's our someday. That's like our retirement plan. But he lost his dad of cancer pretty early in life, and my stepmom passed away of cancer, and neither one of them got to like retire from that 9 to 5 and travel and do these things that they wanted to do. Not to mention with my childhood, my parents worked like different shifts, so I would never see them all at the same time. And I didn't want that life for us and my kids. And like I said, life's so short. Like my son's 13 already. He's going to be 18 like in 2 seconds, and
Instantly.
I'll have missed all this time. So
yes.
Yeah, so we decided to pack up and sold everything. I have like 8 bins of stuff in my mom's house, like my wedding dress and photo albums. And other than that, everything I own is on this boat that I'm sitting on right now.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So when you guys decided to sell your house, this was such a big jump because you hadn't even found the sailboat that you were buying at that time. No. So you decided to sell your house. And I remember when you listed the garage sale and you're like, everything goes, and all this stuff out there. I was like, holy crap, like everything's going.
Everything.
So that must have been a little crazy for you, not just selling your home base, but knowing that, well, shit, we're selling it and we don't really have anywhere to go right now. So that must have pushed you into doing the RV thing. Is that it?
Well, yeah. I mean, we couldn't we had to use the sale of the house to purchase the boat. We don't have like just extra thousands of dollars laying around. So yeah, who knew? I'm lucky that we had thousands of dollars that we had with our house. That's what happens with the Seattle housing market right now. So we decided we were going to sell everything. We bought a 28 foot, 26. Now I'm confused. 26, I think. Small, very small trailer that had like no doors except for the bathroom.
Oh God.
And we moved into this trailer with the kids, and we got a storage unit for the other things that didn't fit in the truck and trailer, and started shopping. 5 months in that trailer. I thought it would be like, oh, we'll find a boat in like a month or two, you know? I did not expect to be in that tight space with my children for that long. You know, and we homeschooled. Well, I homeschool. So it was like literally 24/7 in a space like this big. Yeah.
Oh girl.
Yeah. So, what was I just going to say? Now I lost my train of thought. So we started shopping for the boat, starting in Seattle. Well, we went up to Canada too. And then we drove down the coast and ended up buying our boat in San Diego. And then we sold the trailer and moved onto the boat. And you would think at this point, you're like, wow, I moved from a big house into a tiny boat. That must seem really tiny. But I think that having that transition of that itty bitty little trailer into a boat that has doors, and my kids can be like on one side of the boat and we can be on the other, was like, this thing felt gigantic when we bought it. And it still is great. I love this whole minimalist lifestyle. Like everything that I own on this boat, like I need and I appreciate, and I don't have, you know, a giant closet with a huge wardrobe, and I don't know, it's living simply.
Everything that you have on the boat, you utilize in some way, shape, or form. And that to me is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I asked my good friend Runa, because she sold her house and also transitioned into an RV and a sailboat. So they have both. So they're like land and sea. You know what I mean?
Right.
They kind of put their boat away for the winter and travel around in their RV. And then they get back on the boat. And
that's cool.
I asked her, I'm like, and I'm asking you too, how are you still practicing your craft in the areas that you are in? Like, are you still, I mean, and being on the water, the moon takes a big hold on you. So you've got to be practicing somehow, because if you didn't, I'm sure that you'd be feeling ill.
Right. I'll say that it's much harder. It's hard that I don't have like my circle of other witches to, you know, have come over to my house.
Yeah.
And to my you know, my family, they're pretty woo woo, but they're they're not like me, you know. And you know, I try to do what I can with the kids, but sometimes you need space to just sit and do a meditation, or even just go for like a walk barefoot, or swim by myself, or just little tiny things like that in nature without my family it has been a struggle. And it's also just feeling grounded when my home is literally floating all the time is a very different feeling.
Yes.
To learn how to like ground just by having my feet in the water and not having it to be on solid foundation is very different. So it is. I do, honestly, I feel like I've lost a little bit of that doing this. And
but even the feeling of losing a little bit of craft by moving into where you're at right now, you also are kind of balancing yourself out by celebrating the smaller things that you actually get to do, that walk on the beach, that swim in the ocean, watching the dolphins jump, you know, I mean,
it's true.
Those gifts from nature have got to be filling your soul, sometimes more so than having the big group over at your house where you're being the hostess and the priestess. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very good point. Yep.
Yes.
It's the little things now, for sure.
Exactly, minimalist. It is the little things. So take all of those into consideration and celebrate those. Now I want to get back to your book. Okay, so year and a half ago, put the house on the market, moved into an RV, moved into a sailboat, but yet you have time to author and publish a book. I need to know how. That's what I want to know is how.
All right. So when we were packing up and doing all these house projects and finishing everything to make our house sell for the most amount of money possible, um, I heard about NaNoWriMo, which is
Yes,
National November Writing Month,
which
right?
is coming up again soon.
Which is very soon. I know. I'm like, do I write another one?
Book two,
Um,
book two.
so everyone has always said, like, you need to write a book, especially being a paranormal investigator in Salem, Massachusetts. I mean, I've got some ghost stories. Um, so I decided for that month of November that I was going to take time out for me and be able to do this. And it's really nice having that website because it'll tell you, like, you've got a goal of 50,000 words.
Yes,
So this is
yes.
how many words you need to write each day. And then some
Wow.
days I would do a little more, like I was on a roll and I would just write and write and write and write and write. And then other days I'm like, I have no clue what to put down. So then I'd fall behind and then I'd have to like make up for it the next day. And so it was like really having discipline to do this. Not to mention I was also seeing clients and working, and I was also homeschooling, and we were trying to get the
Right,
house ready, and it was insane. But
right.
having just a little bit of structure for me with all those planets in Virgo
Yeah.
really helped motivate me to finish it. And then at the very end, I was like, I'm not gonna make it, so I used voice to text.
Yes, girl. I love that. The dictation. Oh my God. I would do it
I
all
should
the
have done that
time.
the whole time.
Yeah, you should have. But I understand why you didn't because you and I are like pen to paper, pen to paper.
Right.
And I feel part of my soul goes onto that paper as I'm writing. You know what I mean? But I've gotten to the point where this is cramping up after doing massage for so long. I'm like,
Yeah.
dictation, baby. It's on. Let's do it.
Well, it also comes out real funky. Like sometimes the words don't match up, and then you have to go back through and go, what the hell was I saying right here? So writing is just, it's so much better. It's just not as fast.
I love it. That must have been, I mean, you must have really, really put up some this is my time boundaries because you're in the
Mm-hmm.
midst of fixing up your house to sell. Still, you're doing homeschool. I'm sure that you're looking at sailboats around this time as
Yep.
well, getting rid of things, organizing all. I mean, this is a life change, organizing a huge life transformational change at the same time putting up those boundaries that are very important for you to keep that time for you so you could complete this book. So what kind of
Right.
boundaries were they? Just a hard no?
I think that it really helps to have a supportive husband, because when I say, this is my time right now and I need to get this done for me, he's like, all right, what do you need me to do? And I think that
Nice.
that's super important to have some support. So
It
anytime
sure
I'm
is.
like, I have to write, you need to take the kids and you need to go. I mean, right now, as I'm having this conversation with you, he's out grocery shopping,
I
like
love
takes the
it.
dinghy. It's like 40 minutes down the estuary to go shopping. And that's what I do every time I have a client. Like, he's awesome to just give me that space.
I
So
love
I
it.
think that having that conversation and that back and forth energy with my spouse is like really important to be able to do this kind of stuff. So,
Very
shout
good.
out to awesome husband.
Yes, girl. Shout out nice and loud because it is important when you are a woman trying to be an entrepreneur and really trying to share the light of your gift throughout the world, it is really important to have that time because sometimes when there's so much noise going on out there and there's already a lot of noise going on in here, all I want to do is climb under my blankets and hide. Like that's
Right?
all that I want to do. So I'm like, babe, I need time. Just act like I'm not home. And
Uh-huh.
he's like, okay. And he goes upstairs with the kids and plays or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then he'll make dinner and he'll bring me in a plate, nice and quiet.
That's amazing.
I love
Oh,
him.
I love that. That's awesome.
So I want to talk about, I want you to sell. So I want you to let people know where they can access your book.
So it's on Amazon. You can just search for Ghost Stories and Hippie Shit. So it's spelled, or here, we'll show it to you. It's right here.
Good.
Dun, da, da. So it's spelled S-H
Asterisk.
asterisk. I'm like, what is that thing called? Yeah, asterisk T. But it should show up no matter how you search for it on Amazon. But it's on paperback, it's on Kindle, and it will be on audiobook format, hopefully by Samhain. We're crossing our fingers we can get this all recorded and done by then. But
if you ever need anybody to record some audio for you, I'll do it. I love that.
Awesome. I know, I love it too. It's just we've got all this sloshing water, and it just probably wouldn't. People would listen to that the whole time. But so yeah, I've already got the girl who's doing it, and she's awesome, and she's gonna record the thing. So
good.
So yeah, it's on Amazon. If you can't find it there, you can go to seeingfromthesea.com/book, and you can get it there. It'll take you straight to Amazon. I already searched
it. It's very easy to find on Amazon. It pops right up.
Oh, good.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so thank you for, I'm going to order mine today. I haven't ordered mine yet. But I want to end our meeting with a little bit about what you're still doing on the boat. Like, you're still giving readings. Are you still doing like distance Reiki healings and things like that as well? Okay, good.
Yes.
Good. Awesome.
So my sessions are, well, I call them sea sessions, and they're kind of a combo. So it's, Reiki, chakra balancing, tarot, sometimes oracle, astrology. I make sure I get their charts, some like shamanic style journeying, mediumship. It's like a combo, and you can choose like 30 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, depending on how much of this combo you want.
Gotcha.
And then I do some things through email too. Like if someone just wants their birth chart, I'll email that out. My son, he does astrology on my website too. He'll do charts also for a little cheaper than mine, and he thinks that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm still doing everything the same. Obviously, I mean, I can't do massage anymore at a distance, but everything else, I mean, gosh, it's just ripples of energy, right? It just goes where I decide to send it. So
yes, I mean, you know what, to be quite honest with you, that was, that's one of the best things about becoming a massage therapist, an energy worker, a mystic, all of those things. That's one of the best things. You can take them anywhere. Anywhere you go, they come with you, and you are able to spread that light and love all over the place. So I love it.
Exactly.
I love it. So what are you going to do for the full moon coming up on Sunday?
Well, the usual. What I am going to do though, so I do these tarot scopes every full moon and new moon on my website, and I use kind of like this black background of like my altar cloth, and it's Seeing from the Sea, and I put a few shells in it, but I don't like the way it looks, and I've been doing it like that all year.
Why aren't you up on top deck doing them?
Well, I was, but then it was like too bright for the camera with black background. So anyway, I found this really cool conch shell, and I'm going to go take it to the beach. So this is what I'm going to do on Sunday as kind of my own little ritual. I'm going to take all the cards that I need for like the entire next year and do my little moon photo shoot. Because I mean, that's like the best, the Aries full moon. I mean, you're like,
I know, that's what I'm saying.
It's October. It's like, this is kind of like the new beginning, and it's going to all be different and change from here. And I feel like that feels really good.
It is. And it's the new beginning, and we're also transitioning into Mercury retrograde. So we are getting all of these ideas, hooking into our intuition, seeing the truths, deciding which way we want to go. And because of the retrograde, we're allowed to take that pause and actually plan it instead of, okay, I have to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we have a hand in planning our transformation, this change coming up. The moon is gifting us that. So that's pretty freaking awesome to me. Pretty awesome. Yeah. So I want to, both of us draw a tarot card. All right?
Okay.
So shuffle up, baby.
Dun, 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 dun.
So this reading, let it be about the full moon, Mercury in retrograde, and the Libra sun. Let's just keep it nice and easy. How we're going to balance the retrograde with the energies of transformation with the full moon. How about that?
Yep, that sounds good.
Tell me when you're ready.
Almost. It's so hot here, they get stuck to my fingers. All right.
You go
Ready?
first.
We've got the Hanged Man.
Nice. I like it. Very suiting. Very suiting.
Very suiting. Do you want me to do this little reading, or are you going to read
Yes,
yours first?
I want you to do the reading.
All right. So I think that especially when Mercury retrograde pops up, people get hung up, obviously, on communication and getting things finished, and everything gets all wonky and weird, and then people get kind of like they just stop doing everything.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that that it's a really important lesson to make sure that during retrograde season that it's kind of okay to, maybe the Hermit might have been a really good card for this too, but to kind of hunker down and, like you said, like get a blanket. Not me, I'm hot, I don't need a blanket, but like you're lucky I put a shirt on today.
Hey girl, I actually washed my hair and shaved my legs in the shower today, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
But yeah, to kind of go in and just slow down and make sure before you send out that email or you schedule that appointment that you, really take the time to do it right. And so that this is kind of a message of not being stuck.
Yes.
And to continue on just a little bit slower.
Perfect. Well, you're going to like what I drew.
What'd you
and
get?
she fits in amazingly with what you got. I got the beautiful High Priestess today.
Ooh, perfect.
Yeah. So what the High Priestess is telling me today is, especially with Mercury retrograde, and then we have the balance of the sun in Libra, and the moon is going to be in Aries, which is all that fire and change and transformation. She's telling us that not only do we need to listen to our intuition, that because of the retrograde, now is really a time of stillness and passivity. So you don't really do, you know what I mean? You just kind of be, So also what she reminds us of is, because with retrograde too, you're also shown truths that you might have been blind to before, and that's kind of what pushes us with this Aries sun to make changes. So a lot of people might have already been feeling the retrograde coming on and seeing these truths, and now with Aries coming into play with the moon, they're making plans, and that's exactly what you need to do, because the High Priestess says you need to follow that intuition to notice these truths that are coming up. Things are not always what they appear to be and have been, you know what I mean? And with the retrograde, it's really important to get in touch with yourself and be honest with the truths within too, not just around you, And then when that full moon comes into play, just release, dance under the sky, and release and let go of all those ties and listen to that intuition. So I am loving how we both pulled up cards that relate about ways to view things. Because a lot of people, when Mercury retrograde comes in, they get all freaked out. They don't understand that when it comes into play, it's a do-over, man. You get to do some shit over,
Right.
This is your time to be like, hey, I did that wrong the first time. I'm going to plan to do it right this time, So I love it. I love it. And I loved chatting with you. It was so nice to catch up with you, for sure. And I am probably going to post this podcast on probably Saturday. I want to post it tomorrow. I'm doing Pagan Pride
before the moon.
Yes, I'm doing Pagan Pride all day tomorrow. But then I'll post it for tomorrow. So thank you, Miss Kimberly Bizjack, for joining me today. And
Thank
I hope
you.
to talk to you very, very soon. Have fun on your boat.
Thank you.
All right, baby. I'll talk to you later.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.